Electricity can make all the difference. So in this video, I will show you how to build the circuits for my Stinger Minimum and my Stinger Maximum base designs. Also, along the way, I'll try to help you understand a bit more about how they work and why they work. Wish me luck. This is for the Stinger Mini base design. It uses one large battery and can be sustained with only 2 solar panels. We have 2 circuits kinda going on here. One is for the turrets, which is manual, and one for the lights, which is automatic. First, we have our power collection. We bring each of these inputs into a root combiner, which then combines the power of both of those inputs and outputs it to this top connector. We bring all that power into the input of an electrical branch and bring the power out of the branch to the battery, which gets it charging. We'll just follow the line right back to the power in. From that same branch, we want to bring the branch out connection into the pass-through side of a blocker. The pass-through of power gets blocked when this channel is enabled when the solar panels are receiving power, which is only during the day. We want this blocker to get power directly through this line connected to the battery output. So basically, while the solar panels are receiving power, which is only during the day, the blocker is active, blocking the lights from going on, and then when the solar panels are not receiving power, which is only during the night, the blocker allows the power to go through the top here, which is connected directly into our lights. With these lights, you can just string them together. You go from the power input to the pass-through, to the power input, to the pass-through, and so on. Now the automatic light should work, so if we make it nighttime through a command here, the light should go on. Boom. So it does work. The server's a little bit behind, but there we go. Also, once it turns daytime again, which I'll just do through a command again, the light should go off automatically as well. So with that working, we come to the next part of our circuit, which is the manual on and off switch for 2 turrets. Now we can't just hook it up to this same connector since it only sends out power during the nighttime, so we must modify our circuit. In this build we have 2 turrets that need power. Each of these costs 10 units of power. Just be aware of this if you want to add more. What I've done is take the power inputs of each and brought them into the power outputs of an electrical branch. Then I've brought the power input of the branch into the output of a switch so that we can manually toggle its state. That leaves us with the problem of how to power this from the same battery without messing up the automatic lights. The way I do this is by adding a branch and grabbing the power output of the battery and bringing it back to the branch. The branch will act as a splitter. One connection will come over to the automatic light side and into this blocker, the same way the battery was just hooked up to it before. The second connection will come over to the manual side for the turrets. Now let's make it nighttime and see what happens. Okay, so we only have one light going on. The best way to debug a circuit is by testing half of it at once, and since this side worked fine before, the problem must be on the side we just built. Each of those lights uses 2 power. We have 6, so 12 power is needed here. We can also turn the turrets on now using this switch. To see if the turrets are powered separately from the lighting system, we can turn it back to daytime, which disables the lights, and the turrets should stay on. Once it's daytime, the lights will go off. The server is a bit behind again. I think it's because I have streams open in the background, but it does work in the end. The turrets are still on, as you can see here, and by the way, you can also toggle them on and off anytime during the day or night without affecting the lights at all. Now let me show you how everything is routed in the actual base. In this room here, we have the battery, the start of the light strand, and the turret switch. One turret is right here, and then we have one turret up here on the top floor. Same as we just built it, when you turn this switch on, both turrets will be powered up, as you can see here. Once again, I'll turn it into nighttime so that the lights all turn on. So the same way we have them stringed up is the same way we do it in the base. We just go light into light until we reach the end. I want to show you one thing. Up on the top here, there are the 2 solar panels. Let me just turn it back to day real quick. I want to basically show you that it is possible to bring this wire all the way down to the circuit without the need for an extension. The easiest way to do this is by bringing it straight down the walls right in the middle of the 2x2 like this. It can be done much neater than this, but this works. Bring it all the way down in this fashion to the loot room right here. After that's done, you can run around to the electrical room and snap it onto the wall, which is really close to the root combiner. You can also place this electrical room pretty much anywhere you want, since no place inside of the base is too far for the wires to reach. And that is how you wire up the circuit for my Stinger Minimum base design. The combination of two very basic circuits can give your group a ton of utility and quality of life. Next we'll build the electrical for the Stinger Maximum, which is a bit more complex. So here's the Stinger Maximum. There's a bit more going on here, but let's start from the beginning. Here we have 3 pairs of solar panels as our total power, each of which is connected to root combiners. The whole point of this section is to get all of the 6 power inputs into one single output, which is up here. This goes into the bottom of an electrical branch, which is also the first part of the auto light setup. Part of this connects into a blocker, which then connects directly into the lights. The power out part of the branch goes right into the power input of the battery, which charges it. We take the power output of the battery and bring it to a splitter. We need a splitter since there are multiple circuits which will use power from it. This first line goes to the auto lights. This second line goes into a switch which we use to toggle the power of the turrets. The third line goes into another splitter which we'll use for all 3 inputs of an elevator. Each elevator has a return elevator button on the top, the power for the elevator itself, and also a return elevator button on the bottom here. If you don't plan on using an elevator in your base, you can replace the first splitter with a branch and just branch off enough power for the turret section. So let's see what happens when we turn it into night. The auto lights work perfectly. Now let me show you that we can operate all of the other functions during the night, and then I'll show you during the day. As you just saw, the turret works just fine. We can also use all of the elevator functions as shown here. If you do know of a better way to set up this elevator circuit, let me know in the comments below because I don't really work with it much. This circuit does work fine, but I feel like there's a redundancy in there somewhere. Anyways, as you can see here, when the lights are all out, the functions still work as intended. Next, let's see how these circuits are situated in the Stinger Maximum base design. So in the Stinger Maximum, you have the option to put the electrical room in 2 different places. The first being on the furnace side of the base on this wall using this battery. The second option is here on the 3rd floor. I chose to put it here because in my opinion it makes the most sense for the flow of the base and it's definitely more secure. First, let me show you that the auto lights actually work. As expected, when it turns dark, the lights go on. If we have a quick look through the base, you can see that all of the lights are strung together and are currently lit up. As you can see, our turret is currently off. This is because we haven't turned the switch on in the electrical room just yet. Let me turn it back to day real quick and then we can turn it on. The lights go off during the day and our turret is now on. You could also add more turrets in the base if you want to. Now if you remember, this last line from this splitter goes to our elevator, which also works at any time. You can see that the splitter for the elevator's 3 components is down here and that all 3 of the different inputs work. And that is how your electrical system works. It's pretty simple to construct once you have the basics down. I hope this helps. See ya! And by the way, it's obvious that I have some work to do in demonstrating the electrical circuits for my base designs, but if you do have any suggestions, please don't hesitate.